Today I'm here with John Durock, Vista, California, Apollo Spares, right behind me. They're the manufacturers of the Atomizer 7700 gun. I know cleaning is important, to maintaining your equipment and possibly even lubrication. So will you give us some tips and tricks on how to lubricate, if necessary, the Apollo 7700 Atomizer gun? Kind of tongue twister, there. So
yeah, it is a little bit, huh?
Yeah. So John, he's going to give us some tips and tricks right now on lubing this gun. Does anything on this gun need to be lubed? And can I like put some Vaseline on the end of the gun, to lube the end of the gun? Can you kind of give me just the lowdown on how to go about lubing this thing, if it needs to be lubed?
So again, any petroleum product around a spray gun, if you're using a water-based material, is going to be a no-no. You don't want to have any kind of oil product in your gun if you're spraying water-based, period. So that means petroleum jelly, that's got petroleum in it, and a Vaseline, anything, your 3-in-1 oils, any of that kind of stuff. We do recommend that you do lube some of the parts on the spray gun, and we can show you that here in a second, but the type of oil that we use is a special oil that we put in with our system. It's not a regular 3-in-1 oil like you might think, or an automotive oil, because it has no petroleum in it. So it's a special oil that we've developed with no petroleum distillates and no silicones in it. And that's really important for making sure that you don't have any of that contamination in your finish, which ultimately offers those nice looking fish eyes looking back at you, and everybody goes, no!
Like I own multiple Apollo 7700 guns. Inside the gun, you open up the kit, there's like a little clear bottle with a white cap on it. Yep. So that's the gun lube, and that's a special lube.
It's a special lube.
Okay.
Yep. So we deliberately put that little bottle in there with every one of our spray guns so that our customers have the proper lube for the spray gun. Right. And then that's also available at Paint Life Supply too, if you want to buy a little 2-ounce bottle of it to replenish after that runs out. Yeah,
so you want to make sure you definitely lube it with the right product. So what would I lube? Because I know you've got a moving needle in here. You've got a seat inside here, a valve that you can't access. What would you lube on this gun to keep it running properly?
So there's really not a whole lot you do need to lube. Most of it is the threaded parts, right? The gland seal here, which is your needle packing, is made from Teflon. And Teflon, as many people may know, is a self-lubricating plastic. So there's very little time that you'd ever really need to put any lubrication on the gland seal itself. So typically what I'm lubing is the parts I'm using back and forth and screwing back and forth. So my material control knob on the back of the gun. Sometimes especially if I'm using water base, it'll tend to dry out the aluminum and make it kind of squeak when you use it. Yep. So if I put a little bit of lube on that, it'll make the threads work nicely and smoothly so that they don't squeak. So that's one of the places I'll use, is on the back here. And then on the front of the gun too. So where we all undo our rings to clean out the front of our gun, we have these threads on the front here. And so those also need to be lubricated every now and again, just so that when you assemble the ring back on there, it moves nice and freely, and you don't have any. It's also very important to clean that area as well, so that you don't have any material drying in there to lock on that ring. But adding some lube to it afterwards will also help to stop that from gluing itself together.
So one of the things that, when I pull the gun apart, I got the needle, when I put it back together, I would typically add some of that lube, stick it back in there, because I thought I was, adding some lubricant to that Teflon seal in there.
And you are.
So is that good or bad to do?
It probably isn't going to make any difference, honestly, Chris. I mean, it's certainly not going to hurt because of the oil that we're using, but really not necessary. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I actually put lube on that portion of the needle. I used to recommend it, and some of our older guns, we used to use a Delrin material, which is not a self-lubricating plastic, and so it was necessary to have that. But with the Teflon, you really don't need to have it. That's why I recommend really just those two places. And then if you are using the OS control on the gun, then obviously you want to put a little bit of lube on the threads on this too.
Right, okay.
But that's really those parts that are just friction parts. Is really all you need to lube.
All right, John, so we've got some tips. You gave us some tips and tricks on how and whether you need to lube the 7700 Atomizer gun. Really appreciate it. Now, if anybody has any questions or comments, if they leave them right here, you can answer them?
Yeah, we can answer them. You can answer them. Yeah. We can all answer them.
Yeah, so
we're here for you guys.
Exactly. So just leave it right down in the comment section below. Your questions, your comments. And if you want, give us a thumbs up if you appreciate the video. Out.